It's Thursday, September 4th, and this is Drive Check, a Cardfight Vanguard podcast, brought to you by the generosity of our patrons, Mewwill, Sheehan, and Wesley Welch.
I don't know.
Yeah, Tachikazes and Spikes,
all
man.
that stuff is so random. I like the way Spikes like to play around with the force markers, but then I'm watching the anime, and every time, we get that astral plane. It's so cool.
Dude, it's so cool.
We should put it on the pre-roll that we're
man,
giving spoilers to the anime.
No, I mean, it's 2 episodes out. It's fine. So it is just you and I this
correct.
week, Alan.
Weird.
Yeah, because Will is being a loser and moving halfway across the country.
So bad.
Not much we can do about that. He's skipping out on us to have his fun moving adventures, but whatever.
I mean, I'm sad. I am very sad, but don't tell him that.
Yeah, you're losing your buddy. Oh man,
what can you do? It is a big change for him. The thing is, like, him moving away, island closing, my job changing, second baby on the way.
Right.
It's like all of it is like piling up, and
everything.
Yeah, it kind of hit me. Oh yeah,
are you
I'm doing
okay?
good.
Are you doing good?
I'll survive. We got this.
Well, I'm glad. Because it'd be very difficult to record by myself, so I'm going to need...
And God knows when Will's coming back to record, he probably will take he'll be back next week. He can't stay away.
Well, if he's got his internet.
He did get his internet.
Oh, he did. He did. He's not even there, but he's got it.
That dude already paid, has internet. I think he was delivering his bed. I mean, that dude is already living there, and he hasn't moved yet.
He's got everything. Oh, so, excuse me. Have you been playing any other card games other than Vanguard? And if you have been playing Vanguard, do you want to talk about that?
I have not played any other games so far. I did get I think it's Primal Genesis Commander deck. Have not even taken it out of the box yet. I did play some Vanguard with Will last Saturday. We played about 4 games. Played Heroes against Grand Blue, Royal Paladins against Messiahs, then Heroes against Messiahs, and then I think I played Heroes again. Can't remember. I think it was 3 games, not 4. But he beat me. I mean, Grand Blue looks so consistent now with Tachikazes.
It's Cocytus and it's Green Shade.
It was
and Ripple Banshee and Stormride Ghost Ship.
It is. The only thing was I was expecting Scare Deck, but I know he didn't have it in the deck, so it's but yeah, at one point I got saved by a 6 damage heal. I had enough counterblast for a spinning Valiant skill. But he was able to guard my 6 attacks because he got a defensive trigger. Sad face.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if he was playing Green Shade, but if he's playing it more defensively or more offensively. But anytime I'm going against an Excel deck of any kind, I am always going to be using Green Shade to grab my higher value triggers without fail.
Yeah, no, like I said, that he played it and the deck just works so consistently. It was great.
It's a really good deck. You know what else is really good?
What's up?
Throne of Eldraine.
Really?
Is the newest Magic set. It started to spoil. and oh boy, like.
Oh, I think I've seen a couple of cards from there, like a couple of planeswalkers.
You can play some of the cards right now on Magic Arena online. I think it's specifically the Brawl decks, but I haven't been able to corroborate that because I have to uninstall and then reinstall it, and it's a pain in the butt that I don't want to deal with right now. But it's looking pretty cool. So there's 4 different Brawl decks. Each one is supposed to appeal to a different kind of Magic player. And if you don't know, I think there's 4 different Magic players. You got your Spikes, which are like your super competitive, all about the mechanics and gameplay and like trying to win at all costs, essentially. Then you got your Johnnies, or your
okay.
There's like the different sex name for both of them, like maybe like Jamie and Johnny or something like that. Anyway, those are more of your. I think they're more of your combo-y, like just for fun.
Okay. Cool.
And there's Timmy and Tammy, and they're just there to play, to have fun. They don't really care necessarily about being competitive. There might be another one that I can't think of right now. But anyway, like there's 4 different decks for like each different like play style essentially, and they all look super cool. And what's really interesting is the physical decks are actually slightly different, or some of them are slightly different than what the digital decks are.
Oh, that's nice.
Because it is the Brawl format, which is essentially standard version of Commander. There are some cards that affect multiplayer targets, and when you're playing it online on Arena, there's no option for multiplayer. It's only 1 versus 1. So they replace those multiplayer cards out with cards that still help the deck, but that don't deal with the multiplayer shenanigans, which is really cool. It's interesting and a clever workaround for that. But I bet if they have a way to implement multiplayer into Arena, which I don't know how they would do that, they'll probably remove those cards and put in the correct ones. But I thought that was really cool. Plus, they showed the trailer for the new set, and
is that the video with like the little gingerbread people?
Yeah. It's so sad, but also really funny at the same time.
It is. It is super funny.
Yeah. So a planeswalker who I will not say their name shows up in that and does something terribly graphic. That
PG-13, please.
Yeah, PG-13. So I highly recommend giving it a watch because it's funny and tragic at the same time. Also, I think this is my last bit of card news. Buddy Fight just announced they're going to release an English-only booster set, like a little mini booster, and it's like basically it's kind of like their revival collection. So it's a reprint set, but of a lot of the more expensive, higher rarity cards. So that's cool. pretty neat, and it's English only. I think I said that, but yeah. English only. So
that sounds nice. I mean, thank you, Bushi, for trying to control the market again.
Yeah, because Buddy Fight prices are kind of out of hand because it's a quote unquote lesser played game than like Vanguard. So they don't print as much of it. So it's kind of hard to find some cars at, not super expensive either. So it's very nice and needed, and I appreciate it.
That's awesome. I mean, I've never played Buddy Fight. It kind of, the only other Bucci game that I've played is Weiss, and I have like a fairy tale deck.
Hey, me too.
It's like the starter fairy tale deck, and I played it once or twice, and it's sitting in like a drawer in some cabinet in my house.
Yeah, I got a lot of those trial decks laying around. I like Buddy Fight a lot more than Weiss because Weiss is just kind of Weiss is its own thing, and it's hard to really explain it right now. But I think Buddy Fight is Bushiroad's version of Yu-Gi-Oh, and I think that really exemplifies it pretty well because they're archetype driven. So yeah, they've got like the basic attributes, like water, fire, wind, light, darkness, whatever, earth. That's essentially what their worlds are, and within those worlds are archetypes like demon dragons, which if you have not looked at the art for demon dragons, I highly recommend them. They're pretty sweet. Also, some of the Cosmo Man cards are really cool. Like, there's a lot of really cool, unique things about the game. Also, it's super easy to first turn kill, one turn kill, stuff like that. That takes the fun out of it for me. But like, I played against.
But that's what G-Era became. It was the first person to stride won the game. That's
what Premium is right now, essentially.
And that is why I don't play Premium, even though the skills and everything else is, the skills are much more complicated. They require a higher level of skill to like play the decks. But at the same time, it's like if you go first, you lost the game.
Yeah, it's.
It's so hard.
Well, you have to then play the grade 2 game, which then just adds a whole other level of complexity and just it's mind games essentially. Like going back to what we talked about last week, it's another level of play on top of the actual card game. So now you have to like read your opponent and determine when you want to stride. So
it would be like if you go first, you kind of just don't ride to grade 3.
Yeah, you gotta
stay at that grade 2 and hope your opponent decides to ride, or if not, then you both are playing the grade 2 game. Even though the deck that I play, which is Machinings, doesn't care because reasons.
Yeah.
Which is why I kind of like that deck, and I kind of fell in love with it. It was like, if I don't stride, I don't care. My units were still hitting, and I still got numbers. So
whereas with like Night Rose, I'm screwed if I can't stride. So that's another reason why no one really plays Night Rose in Premium Grand Blue. So it's unfortunate.
There you go.
All right, so episode thoughts. So this is going to be for the first 2 episodes, I think.
Yeah.
2 or 3. Are we going? This is week 3. Coming up is week 3. Okay. So, how are you liking Mr. Lemon so far?
I actually kind of liked it a lot. I mean, they're making him comical, which is good. I mean, because I also like Mark. I've always liked that character.
He is so funny.
I've always liked that character, and the fact that Chin is just so clueless as a high school student that it just makes it even better.
Yeah.
And now they're showing how Mark and Cinnamon have created that relationship. So when you saw them on the Vanguard Koshin,
when they're sitting in the stands.
When they're sitting together and, Shin is like laying on Marks and you're like, wait, how do they know each other? But I imagine like for me it was like that because I never finished watching G.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that was brought up at G, but for me it was kind of new, and then now you know.
Yeah, and so far I actually like all of the characters. I especially like Chrono's aunt. What's her name? It's not Kumi, because I don't know why I keep thinking that.
I can't remember the name either. Let me see if I can look it up real quick.
But she is hilarious. Like everyone in this arc is funny.
Yeah, it is, and it's so far it's been pretty good.
Yeah,
I gotta say, so far it's been pretty.
It's a very refreshing change from like end of the world sort of thing. Big fan. Mikuru, yeah.
Mikuru Shindo.
Yep, yep. So everyone's real good. Rive, I guess at this point in the lore of the series, Rive is having a baby boy at the moment because Mikuru yelled at him for being at the card shop and not buying diapers.
I found that so funny.
Yeah, you could probably relate.
Yes, I have arrived at my house, and yes, I have to go back down the stairs, get in my car, and go get milk because there's no milk in the house. Yes. The joys of being a dad.
Yes, and then there's a super cute scene with the little Neonectar girl like fawning over little Assisticat's paws, which is really funny.
Yeah, that is super funny. I mean, it seems like cats and assistant cat, play a larger role now than just hanging around the store looking cute and meowing at people.
Yeah, napping all day. Okay, so I'm super excited for the rest of this series. Not only is it for like Genesis to be the front runner, but also just a lighthearted version before we jump to Chrono and all that crap.
How do you think they'll bring it back?
Yeah.
Do you think they'll bring Stride back?
Oh, Stride? I don't think so.
I mean, but they will bring the characters from G. That part I do believe that's happening. But like I don't know if they will bring Stride
back. I don't think that they would or should, because it really throws the game, like it throws the balance of the game off track and accelerates it too much, kind of like what Pendulum Summoning did in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
So
it is. I mean, I don't know.
Like Triple Drive is nothing to scoff at. Even if the effects didn't do anything and it didn't get extra power, Triple Drive is pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is. Which is why Will needs to keep playing Automatas, but he's not anymore. Anyway. Yeah, no. I don't know if we actually had any erratas this week. We might have. I mean, we're like that. We just don't check. Because you know what? We know we're bad at this.
We're terrible. We're filthy casuals.
Yup, that we are. I got the cap to show it.
Okay, so as of this recording, the final cards for the Raging Tactics set have been released, revealed, scanned, shown, translated, whatever you want to, however you want to slice it. So we'll get to that a little bit later. We're going to focus this week on Tachikazes, and just because I'm very excited to see what the new build would do for the deck. So we'll kind of go through some of the old cards and some of the new cards that we think will have a place in the deck, and maybe kind of theory craft a little bit. But before we get to that, the I think, was it on stream? Anyway, one of the card reveals were 4 or 5 different promos. These are coupon exchange promos, so I don't think they're coming to the States, to English anytime soon. The first one is going to be Dia Connect Dragon. It's a grade 2 Royal Paladin. 10k power, 5k shield. Auto on rearguard 1 placed. If you have another unit in the same column as this unit, soul charge 1. If a trigger unit was soul charged, this unit gets power plus 10,000 until end of turn. So it's just essentially a grade 2 Pongo, which it's really good.
It is really good, and after seeing that deck that we talked about last week, the Turbo Soul Saver, it's pretty neat.
You get the next one.
And power plus 10 in a Force deck is
especially because now you can probably technically sort of run Force 2.
Yep, and you still get those numbers. All right, so our next one is actually Stealth Beast Konjiki Tenko. This is a new Atama, grade 1, 8k power, 10k shield, and it states that when the attack is boosted, hits a Vanguard, counterblast 1, and return it to your hand. So, shield power, I guess?
It's shield power. It also procs Magatsu Storm as well. But it does cost a counterblast. There are ways to countercharge in the deck, but I think Obero Cart might be the better option for that, for the bounce back sort of effect, because he also doubles a unit's power on the field. I think it's when he's placed he doubles a unit's power. But anyway, and I also think it's just at the end of the battle and not when it hits. But if you didn't have Cart, I think this is a pretty solid substitute.
Yeah, I mean, I've only played Nubatama a couple of times, and, it's like, oh, yeah, discard down to 4. Oh, discard another one. And then suddenly you're like, okay, what am I doing now? Especially on Axel decks, which is mostly what I play right now. It really
because you need that hand. And if you don't have the hand, then you're SOL. Okay, Vermin Disposal. It's a grade 2 Dimension Police Battleroid. Grade 0.
Is it a grade 0? I thought it was a grade 0.
My contact is fogging up on me. Power 5k, shield 10k. Act from the drop zone. If your damage zone has 5 cards, exactly 5 cards, cost counterblast 1 and return this unit to your hand. Okay, so you throw it away for your shield, then you can grab it back later. Does cost a counterblast though, which is not great in standard, might have some legs in premium. However, the second ability is Odom on the rearguard circle. One place. If your Vanguard's power is 35,000 or greater, this unit gets power plus 15,000 until end of turn. So it's a 20k grade 0, as long as your Vanguard has 35 more.
That seems super funny, especially since 35k is like super easy.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
I think. Especially on premium.
Yeah.
So the last reveal one was a pale moon called Double Head Unicorn, and the card is super weird to look at because half the unicorn is black, half the unicorn is white, and you're like, where? And it's just literally split down the middle. But I don't know. Power 9, shield 5, and it has a skill that auto when it's put into your soul from rearguard due to your Vanguard's ability, counterblast 1, call this card out the rearguard circle again, and call a card from your hand to rearguard circle, and the called unit gets +5. So with the Pale Moon shenanigans of putting rearguards into the soul to call something else, basically you can stack this and just give it a little bit more power.
Also, there are
which is not bad.
A few cards that require them being called from hand in Pale Moon. I can't think of them right now, but I know that there's at least 1, maybe 2. So this could work with that. Also, I've heard that this works with End of Stage, but I'm not entirely sure how that would work, because Pale Moon is just something I don't care enough about. Sorry, Nick, but I just don't care.
Hey, you're gonna make a lot.
I know.
Gonna make a lot of people sad.
I know,
in Discord.
But I can't.
I honestly don't. The only Pale Moon cards that I wanted to play before Standard came out was Lukier, and I never got to build a deck because it was just expensive to get all the cards. I'm
pretty sure it'll be.
And
yeah, go ahead.
No, and it was just expensive. I mean, and you needed 4 of each, and not even with a revival collection, the prices kind of never changed, and it was just not a really great deck. It just looked cool.
I think with the standard Pale Moon with Lukier coming out soon, September 27th, by the way. That's when that set drops in English. We discovered earlier. I think that would be pretty fun to pick up, because you're basically only going to use what's in this set, and maybe some extra triggers or whatnot. But yeah, and also because of there's that XVR, I think there actually might be 2 XVRs in this set, but because there's an XVR, the overall value of the set is going to diminish because people are going to be chasing those I just said it. The XVRs, yeah.
XVRs.
So they're going to be buying a lot of product, which means there's more product on the market, so it's going to be cheaper. So it's
probably going to be
Pale
good.
Moon, I think, is probably the best from that set right now. Anyway,
I think. So out of all the other ones, the really one that I wanted to talk about that kind of can boost us into the topic we wanted to talk about is Savage Academian, the grade 2 Tachi that got revealed.
Right, yeah.
It is a power 8k, which is not the regular 9k, and then the shield is normal. but it has an activated skill on the rearguard circle. Soul Blast 1 and rest her to call one of the unit's equip gauges to rearguard circle. And this kind of prompted me to ask, like, what, can you look at your gauges? Because then it's like, am I just going to call blindly? And obviously, when you're putting the gauge down into the field, you look
at it after it's been placed. Which is important after because it's been placed, with Link Joker, you can look at the card and then place it where you want. Yeah.
And then place it. Yeah, because you need to place it face down. So I just feel this card is super good. By reading all the other effects,
I think it's a double rare.
Super good.
Well, it comes as an SP. I saw that. But yeah, this card is super good, and especially when we combo it with the VR in the set. So here, let me. Wherever.
Anger Blader. Yeah, I saw. They also did the stream and they showed the high rarity versions for this set. And let me tell you, the cards, at least the Mega Colony ones, look sweet.
The
SVR Anger Blader looked pretty good too.
I just need to find it. Okay, here it is. The effects for Thundering Sorgan Anger Blader is 3 blah blah blah. Axel gift. Act on the rearguard circle. Cost. Put a rearguard face down as an equip gauge for another rearguard. And choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. Also, that is not once per turn.
It is not once per turn, and it is an activated skill. So it's not when placed, it is just an activated skill. And a lot of the cards that are coming out also put gauges on, and then, more power per gauge.
If the card had equip gauge and you used Anger Blader to put the card with equip gauge into another unit's equip gauge, they then would lose all of that equip gauge. That's important to note because with Blytops, whenever Blytops is when he's retired, then you get all the cards that are underneath it, or is it like 2 cards or something like that?
Yeah, Blytops is when it would be retired from rearguard, Carnablast 1 and return up to 2 gauges equipped to that unit to the hand.
Gotcha. Yeah, so with that, you actually would not be able to get anything because Blytops is not being retired, he's being moved.
Yeah, which is what really irks me about Stylish Hustler.
Yeah. Unfortunately. So that's really cool. And also the fact that you get to choose your opponent's rearguard and retire it is really sweet. So what I was thinking is with the Savage Academian, you use her ability to call one of the equip gauges underneath her to call it out, and then you use Anger Blader to put her underneath that unit as an equip gauge. So you're kind of just like swapping places essentially, or just like on any other unit.
And a lot of the cards in the new set are one place put a gauge or stuff like that. So it's like if you have I don't know, I just read one. Was it this one? Yeah. So for example, Roar Barrio, which is one of Roar Barrio. It's a great one that when play Soul Blast 1 and put the top card of your deck face down as an equip gauge for your rearguards, and that unit gets +5 for each equip gauge.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I feel like what the mechanics of Tachis are, it's all about getting more gauges in and moving your gauges around. Yeah. So instead of moving circles, force markers and stuff, you're just moving gauges around.
I didn't even think about that. Also, so we totally forgot the second ability for Anger Blader, which is auto on the Vanguard circle. When it attacks, you counterblast 1, stand 3 of your rearguards with 3 or more equipped gauges each, and all of your front row units get power plus 5,000 until end of turn. So
yeah,
that's really cool. So
pretty
you want
sweet.
to stack up about 3, I think, for most of your units in the front row. Then you can restand them, and then they get extra power, and then they can attack. I really like this card. I think it's designed super well. I'm not the biggest fan of the art, but overall, like its ability design is pretty sweet.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So what are we doing next? I see a lot of stuff here.
What is Sonic Noah? What's that ability?
Sonic Noah was a grade 1 double rare. When it boosts, you can put a face down equip gauge on the boosted unit, and when the attack that the boosted hits, retire another rear guard to draw a card. So it basically lets you build your hand and, you know, put an extra gauge on the unit that is attacking or it's boosted.
So I think you still include Sonic Noah.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the one obviously most of the cards that you have is like they're gone in the current deck. So the way the deck that I found was running I think it was 8 crits, 4 fronts, 8 crits, the 4 perfect guards, and the 4 heals. I think you replaced some of the crits with fronts just for... I think it was just for that build that I saw. And then it was running... Winged Dragon Skyterra was a great one, Sonic Noah, and Lacetarix. It was running just 4 of those. Then it was running... was it 4 or 3? I think it was 4, and 3. Then it was Savage Raider, Ravenous Dragon Mega Rex, and Light Tops for your grade 2s. And then you were just running 4 and 4, 4 Gigarex and 4 Death Rexes. I mean, it was... When I was looking at the builds, it was very straightforward. Like, you didn't have a lot of options to play around with. But like we mentioned before the show, I don't know if it got recorded or not, you know, you only had a very limited pool of cards that you could use.
Yeah. So, another card that would work really well with Anger Blader is Deflagration Dragon Bomb Raptor. So on rearguard circle, once per turn, when your opponent's rearguard is retired during your turn. So if you use Anger Blader's first ability, put the top card of your deck face down as an equip gauge for this unit. And you may have this unit get power plus 5,000 until end of turn for each of this unit's equip gauges. So.
Okay. So, is that
once per turn? Yeah, unfortunately. But there are other cards that give equip gauges to other units.
And once again, remember that first skill isn't activated, so you can move around your gauges or place cards and give that unit gauges, and then just basically activate Anger Blader so that once per turn gives you plus 15 or plus 20 or even more. So
and then a quick budget version, backup grade 3, Fierce Light Dragon Opticalcerato, gives a force. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. I'm just looking at. I'm just looking for that card.
I literally just open up all of the Tachikazes on the wiki, and then I'm going through what I think are somewhat noteworthy. So, auto on the rearguard or vanguard circle, which is important. When placed or when it attacks a vanguard, you may put the top card of your deck face down as an equip gauge for one of your rearguards. So that's a way to stack equip gauges onto your other units as well.
But very important is that or there, because it's like you place it, you can put that gauge, and I imagine that, and then when it's on rearguard circle or vanguard circle, when it attacks the vanguard, you can put another gauge, so it's like a double gauger.
Especially when it's first place. But I like how it still happens even after it's placed, like it recurs, so it keeps going. So it actually might have a spot. Yeah.
It might have a place, actually, because if you're restanding 3 units with Anger Blader, it actually might have a place there. I mean, I don't know about him because, you're putting gauges on him, even though he doesn't get the power-ups from them. So they're probably really... It might be sitting like on a axle circle and just basically putting gauges on your units when placed and then when it attacks.
I would 100% agree.
I don't think you would be restanding it or using it for anything else than that. So it might be a cool tech, but
you could use.
We'll see because we also have other great trees that are coming out.
You could also use Furious Signal Dragon Roar Barrio, which you were talking about before. So you can give it equip gauges, and then it also gets 5,000 for each equip gauge that unit has. So if you can stack it up, and then you can use this guy to give it more power. I could definitely see that working.
Definitely. And just and people listening to us don't expect. I'm not a Tachi expert. I literally just bugged the deck because when they started revealing the cards, it was cheap. It was super cheap. So, and I like cheap gimmicky decks. So. And to be honest with you, we'll see how all of this goes. I've never played it. I played against it probably once or twice when it came out.
Yeah, I've only played against it a handful of times. So Light Blade Dragon Thundalafo. Yeah, so it's a grade 1, 8k power, 10k shield. On rearguard circle, rest this unit, which really isn't a cost. Choose one of your rear guards and put the top card of your deck face down as an equip gauge for that unit, or move all equip gauge from one of your rear guards to it. Then cost counterblast 1, and the chosen unit gets 5,000 power until end of turn. That's not for each gauge like the others, that's just straight up counterblast 1 for 5,000 power. And
which
you might need it for a number, but...
Yeah, I mean, in a budget build, maybe. I really don't see...
I think its first ability is amazing.
The first one, I don't think you want to spend that counterblast, though. No, and in reality, a lot of the cards that got revealed for Tachis were very good. So it would be kind of hard to find a place for him.
But this is just like the that grade 3 where this happens every turn. Also like Anger Blader as well. So you can use this ability first, and then you move it as equip gauge to the same unit, and then use Anger Blader's ability to retire a unit. So you just added 2 gauges to another unit just for playing. I don't know. I think it definitely has a spot. I don't know where, but I think definitely for sure mentioning.
Oh, yeah. Because right now, and I've been looking at the cards and whatnot, I'm seeing a lot of changes on the grade 2 lineup from the original grade 2s. I still think you're running Mega Rex.
What is Mega Rex
I see you running... Vanguard or Rearguard circle. When it attacks a Vanguard, retire another Rearguard and draw a card. If this unit is on Rearguard, you may counterblast 1 and put the top card of your deck face down as an equip gauge for this unit. And it gets +5 until the end of the battle for each equipped unit. So when it swings, you can retire something that, I don't know, had a one-play skill, and it's, after that it's just holding place to draw 1, so give you a little bit of the hand advantage or any units that you might actually need, and then and then counterblast 1 to get +5 for every gauge. And with all the gauge giving that all the new cards are actually given out, I feel like it might be good to keep around. I mean, once again, you may only have like this, and then you can move or put supremely amount of gauges on it, and it becomes like a super big hitter that can be perfect at it with a Protect Breaker.
kind of brings to the point where for almost all the time you want to go for XL2 with this deck, because the ability to draw is just hard to look past. Plus, you're gaining a ton of power in your front row at least. So I don't think you really need that extra 5,000 from XL1.
No. And then the other grade 2 that we haven't mentioned yet is Turbo's Mylodon. Vanguard or Rearguard, when placed or when it attacks a Vanguard, you may put a gauge down for one of your Rearguards. Once again, it's a grade 2 optical Sorrento, which in this case makes it a little bit better. Because I feel like at the grade 3 lineup, you might be a little bit tight. Because they revealed 4 grade 3s for this clan.
I know it's 3 think it was, for sure.
Anger Blader, Deathrex, and then the Savage Mercenary. So 3.
Yeah.
And 1, 2... Yeah, Optical Serrata was the other one. It definitely has budget, and then it has, what's probably going to work best. Because Gigarex is...
okay, so your grade 1 perfect guard that draw a card, drop a card when ridden is Savage Priestess. I think if you have the room and want to focus on a 12 crit build, she's definitely a pretty solid card to have. But I don't know exactly what your trigger ratio is going to be, or like how the other grade 1 room in your deck is going to be. Like whatever that means.
Yeah.
Okay, what about this grade 2? Clear Out Dragon, Sweeper Kanto.
Sweeper Rock Rokanto.
It's you want to read this one?
Yeah. Sure. When it attacks the Vanguard, put the top card as an engage, and then continues on the rearguard circle. He gets +5 for every gauge. And if it has 3 or more, it cannot be chosen, so it gets resist.
And the fact that powers on both players' turns is just nuts.
Yep. It is a continuous skill, which makes it
this is a 4 of.
Yeah. That, and I still see it so much. That Academia card is so
I don't know if I want her as 4 of, though.
Because... No, I don't know if you run it at 4,
2
but
or
you
3
definitely
right now.
have it in your deck.
Depends on what the other grade 2s are looking like.
Yeah.
We did you. Destruction Dragon Dark Rex. This guy. Yeah, drop zone.
Yeah.
You drop can, zone. If you're grade 2 or greater and haven't ridden since the previous turn, you can discard 2 equip gauge, ride it as stand, or call to rearguard circle. So I wasn't thinking about calling it to rearguard circle for some reason, but that just sounds like super good. Because you can call it out essentially kind of for free, and then you can stack stuff on it, and then he can swing on an XL2 circle, so that's 17,000 without any extra power-ups. But his second ability is continuous on the Vanguard or rearguard circle. During the battle it attacked, this unit gets power plus 2,000 for each of your equip gauge. That's every gauge you have on your field. He gets 2,000 for every gauge. So that is an insane attacker right there.
And then it's continuous, so it's also happening in your opponents.
Yes.
And the one of the grade 2s...
Well, no, it's just during the battle it attacked.
But then, Savage Raider, which was one of the commons that you were using before, had a skill that when he attacks a Vanguard, you may move gauges from one of your rearguards to another. Like all the gauges if you wanted to.
Right, yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Once again, not an expert, but...
There's so much going on with these cards. It's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. And we'll definitely talk about... And probably in a couple of we definitely need to talk about spikes again and how to build that.
Yes, spikes for sure. I don't really want to talk about Mega Colony because unless someone shows me what what they're doing, that it's actually good.
Yeah, because unfortunately they gave us a new gimmick, and I need to figure out how it's gonna work, and what the builds are gonna look like.
So here's another card I think you need to include. It is Sharp Thorn Dragon Paulo Can Spine. Auto, when it is retired from Rearguard Circle, activate all of the effects below according to the sum of the number of your equip gauges. 1 or more, Soul Charge 1. 2 or more, Counter Charge 1. 3 or more, move all of this card's equip gauges to one of your other rear guards. Oh man, this card is so good.
Counter Charger though.
Counter Charger, yeah.
Counter Charger important. So Soul Charge, I have not seen a lot of cards in this deck that actually require a Soul Blast.
Yeah. So Soul Charge isn't as fancy.
But it's not really that bad, but that Counter Charge, I think, might be good. And then moving the equip gauges, like if you just had to put gauges on them, you can move that and use it on one of the other skills that require you to retire one of your rear guards.
Exactly.
So hey, and it's if you have 3 gauges, you can do all 3 of them. One of the things that has me a little bit sort of scared for this deck is decking out, because you're gauging a lot, and it feels like Messiah's locking a lot too. Yeah. But I honestly have not played a lot against Messiahs or with Messiahs to know if they actually suffer from decking out.
They can. They definitely can.
But definitely, I feel like with all the gauging and all that, it can probably become an issue.
It was an issue beforehand. That was definitely it was kind of like Grand Blue in the fact where you don't lose to other decks necessarily. If you got your engine rolling, you lose to yourself because you were gauging so much. But there's a lot of cards in this set that shift around gauges. Like Anger Blader's one. This we just talked about it. This guy can move all the gauges equipped to him to another unit. Yeah. There are other units that do that, so that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Sweep Quaracanto or something like that. The sweeper lets you move gauges out too.
That one. Don't need to. We're getting to the tail end. Oh, Savage Mercenary. That's who you wanted to talk about. The grade 3 without a gift.
The grade 3 without a gift. 27k. But very important, you cannot write it.
You can't write that.
Can write that very, very clearly. You cannot write it. But it also has another restriction that if none of your units actually have gauges, which, let's face it, it's somewhat almost impossible.
Yeah.
This unit cannot attack.
So it's a 27k attacker by himself with no other multiple
no other skills.
Yeah, no other skills. Throw it on an XL circle, then or XL2, so that's 32 plus any equip gauge or any other ability that gives him power.
And one of the other grade 1 where you're just putting gauges and giving it +5 for every gauge.
Yeah.
Or stuff like that. It does have ways of becoming a very, very heavy hitter. Are you gonna run it as a tech, as a one-off, maybe a 2-off at the most if you're really feeling that way? I don't see it as more than that.
I think gauge manipulation is a bigger deal than just essentially a vanilla attacker.
Yeah.
So.
And it's a rear guard unit.
And it doesn't give a gift.
Well, it doesn't need to give a gift because it cannot be written.
Oh, you're right.
When you look at it, it's basically a vanilla rear guard grade 3.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. So yeah, that's okay in that aspect. I don't know.
It is. It's not. It's not horrible, but it's not a good card.
Not a good card.
It is not a good card.
You know, it is a good card though. Soundwave Dragon Tontupucks.
Tontupucks?
Yeah.
The other common?
Yeah, it's a common. It is the 12K vanilla grade 2 without any shield.
Huh.
So I could definitely see, depending on what your meta is, playstyle and meta, I can definitely see maybe this card having a spot. But yeah, essentially just for a ride target, grade 2 ride target to prevent like beast deities, rushing, stuff like that. I think it's got.
Agreed. It is a ride target. It's not bad. And it really depends on your playstyle. It will definitely take several plays to get it to go.
Armored Mammoth. This is another grade 2 that I think you need probably 2 copies of, I would say.
Dude, they just built an EDH Vanguard.
Yeah, it's Bermuda Highlander. That'd be super sweet. I think I might try that with Grand Blue if we can get with the next wave of support coming up. Anyway.
Nice.
Auto on the rearguard circle. When it attacks, discard all of this unit's equip gauge. And until end of that battle, when your opponent would call cards from his or her hand to guard circle, he or she can only call the number of cards or more as the number of equip gauge discarded for the cost.
So Franger?
Yeah. No, I think it's...
I mean, Franger is the grades that you're discarding. This is more Valiant. Like Spinning Valiant, where it's like if I discard 3 gauges or 1 or 2 gauges, every time you guard from hand, you need to actually guard with more than 1. So no perfect guarding. I mean, if you're perfect guarding, you're minusing 2 from your hand. So because you need to drop an extra 1 to the guarding circle, which on my last game against Will last Saturday actually came into play. So
this card, you want to not give it a ton of power. You want like just enough so that it can attack, and you kind of want to stack your crits on it, so that they have to throw down, a very large portion of their hand in order to guard it. So,
I've been seeing that most of the decks that we were playing back at Island, most of them actually had sufficient hand size for guarding, but it does hurt when you need to drop more than 1. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's just 1 extra 1, because it takes away your perfect guarding and you're dropping 2 triggers, or maybe you needed that extra card or that grade 3 to like ride the next turn or whatnot, and you either take my damage or you drop all the resources from your hand. It does. I actually have forgotten about it. It might have place.
I think it definitely has a place.
Depending. Because it's like you will definitely have at least 2 or 3 gauges.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Guard restrict is.
It's good no matter what.
Always good.
You know what else is good? Electric Charge Dragon Demetro Spark. Another common vanilla, but it has 3,000 power and a base 2 critical. So give it those equip gauges, power it up, and then it's swinging for 2 all the time.
I don't know how I feel about this 3K grade 2s and this 5K grade 2s that have been popping out everywhere.
If it's not...
it's like, it's a grade 2 and it has 5K power.
Shadows like that,
I think.
If it's not Shadows, I don't think it's playable. But I think it's cool. Really good art.
Yep. I mean, it says a base 2. You can power it up in a budget build. It definitely would probably want to use it for something. Do we have anything else coming out for Tachis this one? I
there's
don't
a
think
few
so.
more. Savage Augur.
You have triggers.
Counterblast 1, put an equip gauge on the bottom of your deck, and one of your units gets power plus 10,000 on the turn.
So not bad, but really like It prevents the deck out.
Well, you can put triggers that are in your gauge. It doesn't say this unit's gauge. It says any gauge.
Yeah, it's any gauge. Yeah, so you can put that trigger back. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know how I feel about that.
It's a grade 1 though, so I think if you have space, maybe test it. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. So the new triggers they get are Small Horn Dragon Baby Tops, which is a crit trigger, and Savage Rowdy, which is a front trigger. And they get Whiptail Dragon Basher Carno. When the attack it boosted hits a Vanguard cost on hit, discard a card from hand or 2 equip gauges and draw a card. Nope, that's bad. That's what Excel 2 is for. Yep. And so this is really unfortunate, but every clan in this set did not get new starters. So you're stuck with Dragon Egg, Mecha Trainer, and whatever the larva is, or the ant. I don't know. The Mega Colony
this
one.
This one is, there was the...
so you're stuck with those three. They are reprinted, as well as all of the other triggers that have been released for this. Actually, no, not all of them, technically. So
I think they learned their lesson with starters when the Brave starter hit like $30 and the Gold Paladin starter got like stupid expensive because it only came out like in the starter set and it was like the best.
Coel
for every gold deck.
Yeah, Coel.
Anyway, the card that you actually need to remember to always have in your Tachi deck is Ravenous Dragon Gigarex, because who doesn't like free damage? Go ahead
and read that, because it's been a while since I've read that card.
Yeah, it has an auto Vanguard circle. When it attacks, put a gauge on one of the rear guards, and this unit gets power plus 5 for each of your rear guards. For each of your rear guards, not for each equip gauge. But it also has an activated discard 5 equipped gauges. 3 of your front row gets plus 5, and if your opponent damage is 4 or less, deal 1 damage to your opponent's Vanguard. Double-edged knife, because that damage, people, can be a defensive trigger. Yeah, but it also cannot be.
It's free damage, essentially. Not actually, but yeah.
It is a free damage without attacking. You don't need to attack. He only needs to have... discarding 5 equipped gauges is a high cost. It's a very high cost. But if you want to push for a game, that opponent is a 4, you push for a game with that. Because, your opponent's low on resources. You discard those 5 gauges, you put them at 5, and then you swing with like probably 1 or 2 extra Axle circles.
Yep.
And that is always beautiful.
Do you think you want Anger Blader or Gigarex? I'm assuming you're going to want both of those in the same... Actually, you know what? I don't know, because now that I'm thinking about it, they're kind of doing different things, right?
Up to a certain point, yes. Anger Blader likes the gauges. Units. Gigarex is like, I just want to get rid of
I don't know. They might not play well together. Yeah. They may play very well together. I don't know. Okay.
I think you play both.
Okay.
I think you need to play both, at least for the first couple of tries and see how it goes. You're running Anger Blade or you're running Gigarex, and you're probably gonna be running a couple of Dark Rexes. But Dark Rex, it's good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you're great stuck, and that thing writes itself.
It also calls itself too.
It calls itself to one of your rearguard circles, so you are actually not discarding hand resources. But it really all depends on playstyle and the meta at your pace, your place of playing, and I don't know. it is basically that. I mean, it's your deck building and how you play the deck.
Right. So going through all these cards, are you still super excited for Tachikaze?
I am.
I'm pretty excited too.
I am still excited. I am still pretty excited about it. I'm still debating if I'm running fronts or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think you want fronts because you're going to be decking yourself out technically.
Yeah, and the gauges are probably going to eat them up. So you probably just want to run a lot of crits.
Yeah, I'd rather run more crits. Okay, so I'm actually super interested in Tachikaze, and I might do some pricing up tomorrow and see if I can afford to buy all the cards. And if so, I'll probably do that just to have them because I've always wanted the Tachikazes, just haven't been in the budget. So this might push me over the edge.
Hey, I mean, I've always told you we can deck swap.
We can.
I can lend my decks to you. I can just mail them. It should be okay.
Yeah, I just don't know what I'd give you that you don't already have or want.
I mean, I can just lend it to you, dude. I was telling Will this, and G-Era, I was all about Murakumo and stuff. But standard, I think I played the deck twice or thrice. It's not that the deck... I mean, the deck is good.
Yeah.
It was topping and still doing damage out there, even with the few resources it has. But the thing is, like, it lost the gimmick of calling from the deck. It lost the Shadow Clone Jutsu, and that's really what appealed to me from Murakumo back in the
Which
day.
Is
it was just
what they're moving to now. They're moving more to that. With Hyuga
really.
and
changing names. They're changing names and
Uh,
calling cards with the same name.
What am I thinking of? Am I thinking of the Weasels?
The Weasels are the ones that I think you call out.
Okay, because I remember one of them did one. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, no, it that's what called me about the deck, and not having that kind of has turned me off towards the ninjas. I still want to see where bugs go.
Yeah.
I'm still probably gonna try the new Murakumo stuff and see if I fall in love with the deck again. But right now I'm just playing heroes because heroes are fun. I like playing fun decks. And I like the face of my opponent when I tell them, yeah, try the perfect guard. No, drop your whole hand. So yeah, no, I don't know how. It was all about let me clone myself and attack you from the back row. That's gone.
Yeah.
And it's been kind of hard to get back into them.
Yep. No, I totally feel that's why I sold the deck. I do not own Murakumo anymore.
I'm thinking about it. Now that Will is gone and Island is closed, I might be looking for that new shop. I know there's another one around here, Guild Gaming down in Woodbridge, but it's and Will is gonna complain about this, but it's like a 45-minute drive that I don't want to make.
No, that's fair.
Because it's a 45-minute drive, not in highway.
Ooh, yeah.
At all. So this is 45 minutes down back roads.
That's rough.
Granted, at a certain point you drive about 10 or 11 miles with no traffic lights, but still,
that's a very long time. So I don't blame you.
So I'll try it out because I know the other stores are like up in Maryland, so I still don't know what's gonna happen. I want to get back out there. I want to fall in love with the game again.
Well, Skype is always the thing.
With Will gone, yeah, Skype's always there. I've been getting a lot more into X-Wing than Vanguard, unfortunately.
I mean, it's fine. I've been getting into the Mega Man card game a lot lately. That's a fun
buddy fight.
And buddy fight. Oh yeah, I got Cosmo Man. I got my Cosmo. I'm so excited. All right, let's end this train wreck.
Go ahead, sir. Do you want?
Yeah, I'll do it, and then you can close us out. Awesome. So, please review this wonderful podcast on iTunes. I know eventually we're going to get around to do some changes on I think it's Apple Podcast now, technically. So I don't know exactly what we need to do, but we'll take care of all that. Thank you, Zach Boydis, for the lovely intro, and Jeremy Woods for the rockin' outro. Patreon at patreon.com/drivecheck. $1 a month really helps out. It'll help us get better equipment. Help me get a better computer eventually. One that had, not running out of memory and whatnot. A better mic as well. That would be lovely. So I'm also about to edit and put up a video. By the time this comes out, the video hopefully will already be on the YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe to that in case I'm late or whatnot, or if you want to go check it out, it'd be pretty cool. And also leave a comment because I liked doing that kind of video and I want to see what other people think about it. And then we have a website, drivecheck.net, that you, Mr. Alan Camacho, worked very hard on.
Yep, I did. Still working on it. Still got episodes to go.
Make sure that you're getting me a list of all the graphics that you need, and I'll start working on those.
That's cool.
If you want to reach us, we have an email, drivecheckpodcast@gmail.com. We were supposed to have an email episode, but I don't think we got any emails from people. So Thursdays are normally when we record, so if you want us to read an email, make sure you have it in before Thursday. That would be greatly appreciated. We're also on Twitter, at drive_check. Will is at Wash in the Sink. If you want to give him any positive vibes for moving in and driving down to, or I guess up to Minnesota, he'd very much appreciate that. I am at Cole_McCune. That's COLE_MCCUNE. And Mr. Allen, where can they find you?
And I can be found at the tallest IT guy. I just wanted to add another thing to that. Just get us some feedback. We're in this for you guys, and we want to hear what we can improve.
If you like this week's episode, or like the format of us going through a clan and theorizing, let us know so we can do it for all the other clans that pique our interest.
Yeah. Yep. And so for closing out, thank you for listening to this week's episode of Drive Check, a Car Fight Vanguard podcast. My breath is a violent storm. Do you want to try the wrath of a deity? Okay. This is Turbulence Deity Howl Rudra.
What's that do?
I don't know. This is super old. G-Booster Set 2. Common Narukami.
Gross.
It was like when it attacks, counterblast 1, and then your opponent chooses 1 or his or her rear guards for every copy of himself and retires them.
Gross.
Random. You just go to the wiki and you hit random, and that's how we find our closing comments, people. Awesomeness.